Hey guys, so yesterday I went and saw the movie Wonder, the new film about the kid with the facial deformity. I don't know, I forget what the hell it's like a genetic disorder, and I forget what it's actually called. And so anybody comments can tell me. I know it's a real thing. But anyways, uh, I've been hearing that this movie has been pretty good. It's been getting just decent reviews since it came out, and when I had gotten the trailer for this over the last few months, I was kind of on the fence with it because I was like, this is obviously one of those movies that's an Oscar bait movie if I've ever fucking seen one. It's one of those movies that's trying to get recognition come Oscar time. Um, and that's not always a bad thing because there's been some good ones, but there's also been some bad ones. I was like, I don't know which one this is because this looks like one of those way too cheesy kind of movies that come out every year that like try to get trick the Oscars into giving them some nominations, but never fucking works. Uh, One of those over sentimental kind of movies, like fucking last year, Collateral Beauty. Oh my god! Luckily, I never saw that movie, but I've heard about the awfulness that happens in that fucking movie. Uh, but yeah, I was like, like I said. Also, you just look at the cast and you're like, oh, it's got Julia Roberts, Owen Wilson, and Jacob Tremblay. Obviously, this is going to be like trying to get some Oscar nominations, especially from the acting department. And yeah, this was. I said I walked out of this movie going, you know what? I don't know if I'm become a big softy now that I've gotten older and have a 4-year-old niece who I love to death. But man, did this movie make me warm and fuzzy, feel warm and fuzzy inside, and like make me really like feel some fucking emotions. I actually really dug this movie. It was a pretty goddamn good movie. Is it corny? Can it get corny in bits? Yes, it can. Can it get like make me go ugh? Was there parts in this movie that made me go do that, like groan a little bit? Yeah, it did, but I enjoyed it. Especially from the acting department. I have not really watched this Jacob Tremblay that much in films. The kid who plays Augie in the film. He's the kid from that movie Room, not The Room, Room. I've seen The Room, but I have never watched Room. The one of Brie Olson that she won the Oscar for. I actually still have never seen it. It never came to my movie theater, and I haven't got a chance to watch it on DVD ever since it came out on DVD. Maybe one day I will finally watch it, but this kid's pretty good. He's really likable. I like this kid, and like you kind of root for this poor kid. He's just this kid who has this unfortunate genetic disorder that his face is all messed up. He's had like over 20 plastic surgeries to help fix his face, like help him see, help him hear, help him eat and breathe. So this poor kid's been through a hell of a lot. And when this movie takes place over the span of one school year, for his fifth grade year, because he up till fifth grade up till now he's been homeschooled by Julia Roberts, his mom, and he finally decides they also finally decide to let him go to public school. And of course, this being like a middle school or high school movie, any of those kinds of movies, kids are dicks. Sorry, my phone's going. I'm not watching the ESPN. My phone's going off as the ESPN. I have the ESPN app. I'm gonna fucking turn it on silent so I'll keep going off. But yeah, like kids are being dicks because kids are dicks, and they're really cruel. Like they call him Darth Hideous, and he actually develops a friend at one point, and he overhears him talking about how if he looked like him, he would kill himself. And I'm like, that was fucking awful. You feel bad for this poor kid. He just wants to like fit in, and he for a while, like at the movie beginning of the movie, they do the same thing they did in the trailer where they hide his face for a while. Like he's wearing a space helmet, trying to tell his backstory and everything else. And it's like I feel bad for it. Also, this kid loves Star Wars. I love the Star Wars references in this movie. Like when they're calling him, like one kid was asking him who's his favorite character in Star Wars, because his favorite movie Star Wars, and he says, Boba Fett. I said Boba Fett. I'm gonna probably have some Boba Fett, and he's like, "Oh, is it Darth Sidious?" Because Darth Sidious has the fucked up face, and they just cut up to a guy going dressed up as Darth Sidious. Go, ouch! Like that was kind of funny. Or the part where he's talking about, he said, he hates being in the schoolyard where everybody just stares at him. He said, well, I guess if Chewbacca went to school, everybody would stare at him too. I said, and they just cut to a random shot of Chewbacca standing in front of the school. And I know it was a horrible Chewbacca impression. And everybody's staring at him. And I thought that was pretty funny. I love the line, the poor kid, the poor kid, the line in the movie where he's like, I just can't wait for Halloween to happen. And the worst thing to happen in the movie probably happens in Halloween, which is pretty ironic, because it's his favorite holiday because he gets to dress up and be able to hide his face. Julia Roberts, of course, is fucking great because it's Julia Roberts. I can't remember the last movie I've seen her in. I was thinking, the last movie I've seen her in was August Osage County, which is, years ago. And I love that movie. That was a fucked up, weird movie. But, she is great. I was hoping when I first heard about this movie, I was like, oh, is this a remake of the movie Mask? The 80s version with Eric Stoltz and Cher, where maybe Julia Roberts will be playing Cher's role, where she's all fucking like a drunk, crazy lady, crazy mother that's not very good at being a mother. And I'm like, nah, it's just Julia Roberts being Julia Roberts. And Owen Wilson, I'll give him credit too, who he plays the dad. He's a guy who I don't get enough credit, I feel like, as far as the acting department, because when he is given the right acting role, he's pretty goddamn good. He's when he's playing straight-laced Owen Wilson, he's actually pretty, like I said, really good. Could become a really good actor. He's has some pretty goddamn good moments in this movie, especially towards the end where he's talking to his son and everything. Also, really one of the things I like about this movie was I didn't think that did enough of this, because the main focus of the movie is Augie, but throughout the movie, there's parts of this movie where it would show the point of view from different characters. I like that. There's there's most of the movie is from the point of view of Augie. Also, they do show the point of view from the sister, who is also dealing with her own problems. She goes there. She's in high school, and she loves her brother like any sister would, and is very overprotective of him, and she loves him to death, and she's a really good sister to him, and doesn't treat him any differently. And she goes to school, the first day of high school, and her best friend, who she's been friends with for years, just pretty much ignores her. She comes back from camp looking different and ignores her, and then she's just feeling all alone because Julia Roberts and Owen Wilson mainly focus on Augie and not her, and they just pretty much think that she's just okay and everything, but she's got her own problems going on, and I like that. And then also they cut to the one kid who becomes Augie's friend in the middle of the movie. Only briefly do you see from his point of view when where you find out why how he became his best friend, and he tells that he actually at first thought, oh well, I'm just doing this as a charity, but actually he really grew to like the kid. And then you also go from that to the point of view of the sister's ex-best friend, and you kind of get an explanation of what's going on with her and her life. And I love this sweet little moment where because she treats Augie like her own little brother and cares for him and even calls him and is checking up on him. I like that scene. It was a really adorable scene. I was like, man, this is like a movie that like I probably could want to rip the shreds usually for how over sentimental it is, but goddamn, this was because mainly it was acted very well. Like I mean, I was like, you know what, I can't really bitch about this movie. I was worried going halfway through this movie. I don't know if I'm the only one, because I know this is based off a novel, so I didn't know what happens in the novel. I was like, okay, this movie. I kept making comparisons, even though this is a completely different movie than Mask. I kept making comparisons because I don't know if the kid has the same genetic disorder that Rocky Dennis had in Mask. But it's something that looks kind of like almost similar. But I think Rocky Dennis had a little bit more of a bigger disfigurement than Augie did in this movie. But again, if you've never seen Mask, by the way, go fucking watch it. I'm talking about the 80s version of Eric Stoltz, not the Jim Carrey movie. That's a completely different movie. And I remember I remember fucking the movie Mask, and I remember that movie doesn't end well. And I was like, man, if this is gonna be one of those movies that I was like, the whole movie, I just felt like a complete sense of dread because I was like, this probably isn't gonna end well for this kid, and I'm gonna be like really fucking depressed. And I'm like, just because it just felt like one of those movies where that shit kind of happens, and it doesn't really. It doesn't go for the gut punch ending of like the kid dying. Oh, spoiler! He doesn't die or anything. But it's like I said, I was happy about that. I was like, all right, I'm fine with that. I was worried when he went to that, like, I don't know if that was the only one when he went to that wildlife preserve or whatever. Go out in the woods with his classmates, and I was like, oh shit, something's gonna happen. I was like, oh shit, just because they've been building up to this scene, this moment, and like him and his friend go out in the woods together, and they come across seventh graders. Like, oh shit, something's gonna happen. Oh fuck. And then nothing really does happen. It's just like a little fight breaks out, and that's about it. And it's kind of a funny scene. Yeah, like I said earlier, I feel like you get into complaints. It does get cheesy. For a movie like this, it does get cheesy, especially towards the end. Like that scene at the end where he gets, spoiler alert, he gets like some kind of honorary award, which I'm still not sure what the fuck the award was for, but like it was really convoluted, and like it felt like the school just wanted to find a reason to give this poor kid a fucking award and get a standing ovation for school. I get what the point of it was, but it was like, that was still really fucking cheesy. I guess it's like, like I said, it's fine, but it's like you get those cheeseball moments that you expect out of these kinds of movies, but it doesn't hurt the film at all. I like I said, I recommend the movie. I thought it was really funny. A really cute little movie. It's the kids behind me thought it was fucking great. They gave it a standing ovation when the movie ended. I was like, wow. So it's a movie that you could definitely take your kids to, and they'll love it. So yeah, I recommend the movie. As far as trailers go, got a few interesting ones in front of us. I can only imagine the new, not Pure Flix movie, religious movie about some religious song called I Can Only Imagine, which is apparently like the most popular modern day religious song. That's news to me. I never fucking heard of it. And it's the story behind it. It's the singer that sang the song telling the story behind it, and his dad's Dennis Quaid, and he's a dick. And like, I found out later while I was looking at the synopsis that it's about his dad who died or whatever like that. And I'm like, wait, when he was 18. And then they would show clips of him interacting with his dad when he was like, it looked like he was fucking 40, but it's supposed to, I guess, be 18 years old. I'm like, that's a bunch of bullshit. The guy looked 40 and not 18. Yeah, fuck. Not my movie. Obviously not the target audience. The Greatest Showman, the new trailer for that, like, it's the story about P.T. Barnum. If you don't know, it's basically, but it's also a musical, which I didn't know until a few days ago that this was supposed to be a musical. I almost forgot this fucking movie was coming out. Like, it's been a while since I've gotten a trailer for this. It's coming out next month, and I'm like, yeah, it's got Hugh Jackman, and Hugh Jackman is fucking entertaining in anything he does almost anymore. He's so goddamn charismatic, and I can believe him in this role as B.T. Barnum. So yeah, I like I said, I recommend it. So that looks like something that might be decent. And then last trailer I got was Forever My Girl. This looks like a fucking Lifetime movie that got a theatrical release for some reason. It's a movie about a country singer who goes back to his hometown to find his roots, and he comes across his ex-girlfriend who he left at the fucking altar, and she has a daughter that's 7 years old that is his. And I'm like, oh yay, whoopee. And I was like, I know that girl from somewhere. Where does I recognize her? And I looked it up, and it's that girl from Happy Death Day, the main girl. I'm like, all right, she was good in that. But again, this doesn't look like my cup of tea whatsoever. So I was like, I'm probably gonna fucking not see that shit at all. Something my sister probably would go see, not me. But yeah, that's as far as trailers go. I'll be back here, and I actually got one more review to do. I did go see something else earlier today, so I'll be back with that here in a bit.